Radio, linking the world to utility. You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to utility. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse Radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse Radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusions. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Well, greetings, and welcome to another segment of Reasoning Thursdays with yours truly, Lady D. And Mama Acid is going to be joining us in a minute. I'm here, sucking on some candy and stuff like that. How are you all doing? Hoping you are fantabulous, having a fantabulous day as we are. If you have missed the Kids Way this evening, make sure that you are there next week. You don't want to miss it. They were fabulous tonight. They were absolutely fabuloso tonight. Let me tell you, I really full joy Lolo, Sugar, Bite Size, right here on the Powerhouse Radio each and every Thursdays. Right here from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the Powerhouse. So make sure that you join them. And yes, they are live. Yes, they are live via the website, our YouTube channel, and they are also live on our Facebook channel. So spread the word and tell a friend and a friend and a family member that we are here and looking forward for you to be here with us. Well, we have some hot topics, hot reasoning that we're going to be having today. And I'm glad that you all can join us. The number is right here for in the studio. To call in is 706-955-2001 is the number to get us in the studio. That's 706-955-2001 is the number to get us right here in the studio. We want to say big ups to all our listening outlets, each and every one, no matter what media that you're listening through, whatever radio station that you're listening to us through. We want to thank you. Listening through the 667-930-9036. We want to thank you all for that. We want to thank all of our DAPowerhouseradio.com listeners. We want to say big ups to you and thank you for joining us. We want to big ups to each and every one that is joining us during the TuneIn app as well. Once again, the numbers are here at 706-955-2001 is the number to get us right here in the studio. We're waiting for Mama Acid to join on with us. And we're going to be diving right into it. Lots of reasoning. Man, what is going on in our world? That is the number one question that needs to be addressed. It's like, really, what is going on in our world? Is it really the signs? I mean, like, all of my entire life, I've been hearing since I've been a little kid that it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. God's coming for his world. Is it really? Like, with all that is going on, the dangers, the madness, each and everything that is going on right now in this world. You know what I'm saying? Is it really? I really want to know, is it God coming for his earth? What is really really going on here in I mean in the world, as I'm saying, because it's just the United States, it's not just Jamaica, it's not just Africa. This is going all over the world.
In my
Is
house too.
are the people getting crazy? Are the people of the world getting crazy? Is it in our foods? Is it in our drinks?
It's in the
Is
air.
it in the medications that we are taking? I mean, like, what is really going on in our world? And those are some of the stuff we're going to talk about. The cults. Is that something new? Is it, I mean, like, really? Jungle justice. What is that? And does it make and we're gonna get deeper into it. Mama Acid, greetings, how are you doing?
Greetings I bring from Jah to all ragamuffin. Ooh,
Greetings, my sister. Man, well, this is mine and yours. Second show that we're doing. Um, and not just new brand show, but yeah, since we've been back after our 3 months hiatus, so we still have a lot to catch up on. But I don't even know if we need to catch up anymore on what's going on, because so much madness is going on right now. Can you hear me clear, Acid?
you say is madness going on now? When has it ever stopped?
It's never stopped, but I mean, like, it is really, well, I guess, yeah, that's a lot. That's a valid statement. I got ready to say, well, it's like now it's really, really getting like out of hand, but it has always been out of hand.
I think some of it is out of mind too,
Out of mind.
because they out of their minds.
But is it the medicine?
Mm-mm,
Is it in our water? Is it in our
mm-mm.
foods? Or people has just always been like that, and right now that's the true colors are coming through. Is it that?
It's 7 letters.
Okay,
Bad
what's the seven
mind.
letters? Bad mind. I don't
They
know
feel
about
free.
bad mind.
It is because look at
Greetings,
what they're
Don.
doing. Hey
Greetings, Don
guys.
Minette. How you doing? Yeah, I mean, like, is it really bad mind? Is it
Yeah.
bad
Think about
mind
that
for?
guy that came from the hospital from dialysis to get killed and was told his blood was unclean.
That's sickness. I don't know about bad mind because they don't have this supposed pastor wasn't. I don't know if he had a bad mind. I just, well, yeah, his mind is sick,
He was
you
bad
know.
mind. If you listen to
But
all
I
of the
don't think he
stuff
has
that people
something
are
to.
saying,
I don't think he has something to bad mind that gentleman about that he
yeah,
killed.
he
That
did.
it's alleged that he
He
killed.
did.
Why?
I
What
have
did he
spent
have?
the whole day and yesterday with this. I needed to
Okay.
understand a little bit more about this because I am very intrigued by cults. And
Okay.
I'm always trying to figure out what makes that person so charismatic that these other people will actually give up their life.
For, but some people didn't know. A lot of them did not know what was going to take place. You know,
No,
a
they knew
lot
they
of
were supposed to
people.
be leaving on the ark. They sent a text out all over the nation. We leaving on the ark. It's only 144 y'all, so you better hurry up.
But
You need to
can
bring your money for
people?
your ticket too.
I'm not
That's
even
the
say
part
can.
right there.
I'm not even going to say can people. How are people so easily brainwashed that they can believe this person?
I mean, let's just count it out like it is.
Yeah.
The end of times is what people are focusing on because they see things happening. They don't necessarily understand that these things are part of a natural cycle because they want to believe something supernatural. We're always looking for something bigger than us. So I heard the other day a very learned scholar. He said, y'all still looking for Mr. God. Y'all still hoping that y'all can some kind of way magically float up and Mr. God is gonna open the door and y'all gonna just float in and it's gonna be good times and nothing bad. You know who that person was?
Who's that person?
I hate to say it.
Say it. Who's that person?
Ika Mouse. Big up Ripton Hilton. Big up.
So you okay.
Ika Mouse talks
Believing
about the
in
cult mentality.
God, believing in God and looking at man as to whom is going to get you to God, I think is where the first problem is, because you need to know within your mind and soul that you have your own relationship. You need to have your own relationship
Is this
with
not
God.
God? Is this not what they God created man in his image? Is what it says in the Bible for those who believe in
Okay.
the Bible. So this is God.
Okay.
So why would I need somebody else when I have God right here? Why they don't trust themselves is the question. What's wrong with what's going on right here? I could tell you it's what's in here. They've been lied to and tricked, deceived, micromanaged, microaggressed, totally just left in a state of inability to perceive themselves as powerful or even close enough to God that God would hear their prayers if they want to believe there's an external God force. So I'm now pushing a different theory that I think a lot of people are not going to really like. And I don't
What's the
even care.
theory? What's the theory?
Stop looking.
Hmm.
God is here. Just go and look in the mirror and say, "Hello,
I don't
God. Thank you."
I don't think that people that are in these churches are feeling as if men is God. I think that they are feeling as if they have that another person has more of a connection um
Can we talk
to
about that? Because
God.
you alluded to this earlier, and I want to bring it right back to you because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah, because I feel if people,
That's
when you go to
that's
church,
post-traumatic slave syndrome. You're looking for something to glorify your pain. You're looking to be relieved of your burden. Since I laid my
okay,
burdens down, I ain't laid no burdens down. They still stacked over here on my desk waiting to be paid.
okay, why you
And if
think
I
people
take
go to
my money and I
church?
give it to the church, is the church going to pay that?
Why do you think people go to church?
Because they looking for a socially acceptable activity that they feel other people will perceive as positive due to societal pressure of people not being strong enough to stand on their own feet and say, I don't need an external force to justify my existence. My black life matters. But why? It's because of post traumatic slave syndrome. Dr. DeGruy, Joy DeGruy,
Okay,
she says the majority of people that you find hooked up in these cults are people who are so caught up in believing that the preacher is the one who is going to get them into heaven. That if you go to the preacher has a special preference with God above you.
You. Hmm.
In the Bible, it says, where two or more of mine are gathered, I am too. Is that not church?
Two or more.
So
Yeah.
that would be me and you. So we have in church right now. This is the
Okay.
point that we need to get to. Stop
Okay.
discounting church. Stop making church fit a model where you got to go buy a hat. You got to have a certain type of clothes. You got to have a
Clothes to
certain
go
amount of
there.
money for each one of the
Yeah.
offerings to pay
Hmm.
to a man just like you. And I'm not hollering. I'm just feeling the spirit.
No, and I know you're not hollering, and
But you know what I mean. I'm just feeling the spirit.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I totally know you're not hollering. And we had this discussion before this whole cult thing, before this entire cult thing came around.
Mhm.
We had this discussion, and I was
Every
like, hey,
year.
someone came to me, not myself and you, myself and someone else had this reasoning earlier this week, before this entire cult thing came out. And they would say, Lady D, why you don't go, like, we don't really, you don't really too go church, and if you go church, you go small churches. So I always say, I don't like big churches. I don't like church like Creflo Dollars and
I don't need a
New
false
Birth
prophet.
and all of those big churches. I don't like them because I feel like when you are in those churches, I feel that they are not caring for their congregation, because there's so many people that are homeless, so many people that are hungry, and they are not helping. You have to go on a list for assistance, and yet these everyone is giving these people all of this money. I like small intimate churches where my pastor know me, or I know my pastor. And
And the
maybe
membership.
and the member, and maybe it's because how I grew up. And I honestly, I have pastor that I call brother from another mother, that me and them is friends. I have relatives. But for me, I don't like big church, and I just feel like I don't have to be in church in order to know who my God is, whom I worship, or anything like that. And I feel that if I want a connection, I sit in my room and I sit down and I meditate and I speak to God, the higher force of men. That's whom I connect with. So, I mean, when people say to me, Lady, you don't go to church, or come to church, or don't go to church, I'm like, when my spirit leads me there, I end up there. But if my spirit doesn't lead me there, I stay at home and I do my own worshiping at home. I know where my blessings come from. So these big churches aren't for me. And to the cult thing, I just have a hard time to understand how were they brainwashed. What are they using to brainwash these people that they will come into these congregations? Because it's not just this one. It's not just this one. And I was watching something that Mackie Conscious put out. And he said, is it a cult or is it culture? And in some ways it's culture, because and he made another statement of, what happened to all of this Obeah business, this voodoo business, this all aren't all of those cults? And that a lot of not a lot of third world, not just third world, because it's right here in America, that are practicing these things. Don says fear is the primary tool that religious people use to recruit new members. And why would you want to be with a God that you're fearing?
I don't think they fear God. I think they fear man. And they're believing that their closeness to the church is going to protect them from man because God is closer to the church.
Mm. Our
They're looking
telephone
for a
lines are
pass.
open tonight at 706-955-2001, and I'm hoping we can hear you all good on the telephone. Even we was trying to make sure that it was working pretty good. So you all can call in and talk, or just once again, just log your comments are. So you says they have fear for men, not God.
Here's an
Explain.
example.
Explain that. Because I was just saying, explain that.
Why didn't all the people rush up to that church like they rushed after that man chasing them all out in the bush and he was the wrong one? The man that they were searching for, that they
Oh,
thought
we
was the
we
kidnapper.
definitely we're definitely going to touch that because that's one of the topic,
But
jungle
what I'm saying
justice.
is that's a group of men doing the same thing. And why was the pastor not leading his congregation out there saying, listen, this child is missing. We need to go out here and go find this child. Instead, he was busy telling people that they need to get their money together and come because they had to pay to get on the ark because it was only going to be 144 seats and they need to hurry up and get there, regardless of the fact that it was a zero movement day.
Hmm.
That too. So how did all these people get over there to a small area like Paradise? We both know Paradise is just like if Mina Ali and I come. Paradise is like the Aki tree. It's
Hmm.
5,000 Paradise in Jamaica. And when these people showed up, they came from all over the place. So
Just
let's
to get on
let's
this arc.
but this is the part that gets me. Where did the money come from? How much money did they take away from the scene? Because they have yet to discuss that. And they have also not discussed this. They really started just talking about the girl who worked for Appliance Traders Limited,
Yeah,
who
she was
changed
the
her
one.
birth
It's alleged
certificate.
that she was one of
She
them
changed
that
her
was
insurance.
it's alleged that she changed her life insurance, took her brother and her mother out of that
Her
life
son and her
insurance,
mother,
her son and her mother out of the life.
and put the pastor. Now, let me say something. I want everybody to look at me really, really good. I
And those who
escaped.
can't look, listen. For all who's listening on our radio outlets, I guess they need to listen really good. Go ahead.
I escaped a cult, a religious cult.
Okay.
Lady D and I
You
have
didn't.
never talked about this,
You've
and I
never
didn't want to
shared
talk
that.
to her
I just
about
got
it.
ready to say.
I wanted her to
Okay.
find out like everybody else, so y'all could see how shocked she
Just see,
is.
you let me put my hands on my hip right about now. Go ahead.
This cult killed my mother.
I'm sitting back.
My father was one of the cult leaders. He killed my mother. He had dementia. Dementia. In fact, Alzheimer's. He beat my mother at 68 years old, and she hit her head on the frame of the bed at the house, and she got an aneurysm that burst almost a year later. But we didn't find out the whole story until later, and so that's when I found out about the money and the lies and the games and the house being signed over to
Because you
this
shared with me
cult.
that your mom was murdered, but you've never shared with me, and I don't normally ask people how, why, unless they want to disclose that information. So,
I'm not over it. I'll never get over it, but I'll say this. It separated the wheat from the chaff for me. And I'm going to say this. Anybody that
and
wants to talk to me about religion, the first thing they got to get past is that barrier. And then they got to get past the barrier of me going to school to learn about the Bibles to deprogram myself because I went to classes about all these different Bibles and then about
yeah.
the religions, and I studied all kind of religions. I even had to go into catacombs in the most unholy place as I feel in the world, the Vatican. I've been in the catacombs in Vatican City. I've been in the
Yeah.
Vatican
Yeah.
Library. Pardon me. I'm gonna tell y'all like this:
Mm.
cults as big as the Catholic Church have people killing themselves still today. We need to look at what a cult is. A cult is a group of people who are emotionally and spiritually programmed to a belief that is inherently dangerous.
You have me like on silent right now. I promise you this. I'm like on like I'm really on
I got some secrets
silent
too.
right now. I'm really really on silent. So, if you don't mind, since you put it out there, what exactly, how old were you, and what exactly did your father do? Was it a church? I mean, like, would you mind
Oh,
elaborating a little
no
bit more?
problem.
If it's a problem, then don't
It's
worry about it.
no, no. See, what happened was after I left the house because he was so abusive to me. At 21 years old, he tried to beat me with a clothesline in front of my child for no reason. So he had
Hmm.
lost his mind. At that point, I started to realize that there was something else going on here. I had been talking to my mother about it. My mother, she loved him and she wanted to honor the vow, as we call it, vow out. It's a sort of a thing where you make this religious commitment that I'm committed to God, even if you kill me.
Yeah,
So my
till
mother's
death do us
commitment was to
part.
God, and she
Hmm.
died because she was committed to God. And when I found out exactly all the rest of the picture, ooh, all I can say is there were days where I had to really work with myself to not commit murder because my mother stopped me from killing him twice. The first time she stopped me from killing him, he had a gun in his hand and he was trying to shoot at my brother at 15 years old. I was
Mm.
17. And so at that point, we knew he was mentally ill, but we hadn't really figured out that he had totally cracked. So he used to try to force everybody to go to this church and to try to do the whole church thing. So I had three jobs. There was no way for me to go to church. Then
So
I started college.
he had his own church. Okay.
They still exist. It's called Disciples of Christ
Let me write that down. Disciples of Christ in Michigan.
in Detroit. There's a rapist now in charge of it. He's a secondary rapist because the church has always been run by rapists. It was from rapist to rapist to rapist. So the men, they perpetually rape women, and then they have babies with women in the church, and they have affairs with all the women in the church. So the men in the church, even if the women are not having affairs, still call them all these bad names and treat them as though they are, not worthy.
So,
I know I
because
can
I
see
know
you. You just are
because
totally torn up. Y'all look at Lady D because she ain't heard none of
because
this before. And we've known each
I
other for a long time and I've never talked about this.
50, about 16, 17 years. Um,
Yeah.
to for the listeners, because I know they have questions like, so if this church is still in existence and persons are aware of the pedophile that's going on, the murders, no one has been held accountable for any of this.
They having people sign over their property. So they signed over the property that belonged to my family, the family house. I didn't want it anyway because it was a murder scene that my mother had gotten
Right.
and
You
I had
had told me
lived
you didn't want to
there.
have anything to do with that
None of
house.
it.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
understanding that it was good in one way and in another way it was not good. But the house is burned down now. Someone told me the other day when I saw someone, they said, that house just burnt down suddenly.
But
And
I
I said,
mean the
what are you talking
church.
about?
But I mean the church.
Hmm.
It's there is still a congregation, and as you stated, there is a pedophile that is running the church now. It has this has been brought to any authorities' attention, anyone's attention. I'm just sorry to be questioning you, Acid, but
They
you
don't
just threw a
they
whole
don't
load into my
investigate
lap.
stuff like that because they say, even as a woman, if you come to them and you say, hey, so and so molested me or so and so accosted me, you got to prove it. This is a man of God.
And this is where we come back with this rape culture and having to prove that something happened to you.
Why should I have to prove if I'm the victim? I'm telling you, that should be proof enough. I
Yeah.
know we're going to get off to this later, but I just want everybody to know right now, I'm feeling away. And I'm feeling away at some particular people because of some things that they doing. And it's not just women, it's also men who are being used in this way. And I want to also reveal something that I hadn't, well, I kind of revealed it. Some of you all know that I support some of the kids that are in the gully because they don't really have much and they don't really have many people to help them. And they sex workers and they get treated real bad. And one of them told me this pastor was a regular.
And there are so many. I was watching earlier
Oh,
today.
excuse me, not to cut you. The
Go
one
ahead.
thing I did leave off that was bad, and I think maybe I should have said it. The kid told me this after we saw the stuff come out, and the next day, him and two other kids got slashed down in the gully. People in Jamaica know about it because it was in the paper about some sex workers being slashed, but they were regulars.
Of this, and as I was stating, there was a lot of artists and politicians, and it's not just everyday regular people. There are a lot of persons that came in contact with this man, and some
They
were having
speaking out.
telephone phone calls. Cecile, I mean, I know some have tried to distance themselves. I haven't heard Sean Paul came out because he has a picture out
Oh,
with him as
they
well.
said they
But
they said they posted a thing and said that Sean Paul took that picture, just like whatchamacallit said. They always taking pictures with their fans,
with
and they
with
don't know
just
who
a
the
fan.
people are. They just in situations, and the people walk up and say, "Would you take a picture with me?" And they smile and they take the picture, and then later on they find out it was a killer.
Who was that artist that didn't want to take a picture? And a lot of persons was bashing
The baby,
that. It was the baby. I thought it
yeah.
was a reggae artist
Or several reggae
that
artists that won't
didn't
take
that
no picture
didn't
with
want to take
nobody.
the
One of
picture.
them is Buju Banton. Buju Banton don't take pictures with nobody. I'm gonna tell you who else don't take pictures with nobody.
Hmm.
Capleton.
I see pictures with
Capleton don't
Capleton and
want
people.
you to approach him unless he invites you close to him.
Okay,
Capleton
it
almost got
was it was
stabbed
it
by a
was
girl.
popcorn. I
Popcorn
think
don't
it was
take pictures with
popcorn. Was it
nobody.
was it taking a picture with popcorn, or
He
someone
he
took a
don't take no
wanted to take a
pictures with
picture,
nobody.
and then they were saying other artists was saying, all right, well, you know, you need to be more cordial too. I know the situation
No,
with Popcorn and Queen, the blogger Queenie, but there was someone I can't put my finger on it, on the person. But I said that is an interesting eye opener of what you said.
a
So
lot of these people, they okay.
so
So
go ahead.
the people from the church know all of these people who have sex
So that
workers in their
that's
family. They are
I'm
the
saying.
ones who tell the sex workers, "Oh, I need X amount of dollars to go to the church. Can you give me 500 so that I can go to church because I need X amount of dollars in order to get on the ark." The sex workers was the ones who was paying all of these. Look, do you think them grannies had that kind of money coming from where?
Yeah, definitely people invite their family members to people does invite. I just missed a call, but I'm sorry everyone. Mama asked to have me directly focused because of what she just dropped an hour lap, because it's not just my lap, it's our lap. And I'm
She's
with going,
discombobulated momentarily, y'all.
yeah, with going to your okay, I hope I could catch this one. Hello caller, you are live on the air. Ashley, can you hear her?
I can't hear the person. Speak up, caller.
I can hear you. I'm not sure if Acid is hearing you pretty well. Acid, you can hear?
No.
I don't know. We were trying to fix this earlier. But let's see. Caller, go ahead and try it this way. How's that? Go ahead. Can you hear Acid? Not at all. No.
Remember, I'm a
We
long, long way away.
no, but we were having a little technical difficulty over here, and it looks like we just like totally have it. But go ahead, caller. I would see if I can relay a lot of what you're saying to Mama Aston and to our listeners. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
They're selling their organs and they're making money off of it.
Mm. And Mama asked that you were able to hear.
I could hear her, thank God.
Okay, great, great, great. What would you say to the caller?
I want to ask her of an opinion because it's a couple of things I wanted to say. I wanted to talk about the body snatching and about the missing kids, but I just want to ask you a funny question. Do you think he's just an obia man in a nicer frock?
He's not just an obia man. He may be an obia man. Who knows? But I said, I wrote something on Facebook, and like I said, people are losing their minds. Mental illness is a hell of a thing. And we need to touch on that topic, mental illness, because mental illness is not an easy thing, and there are different areas of mental illness. And this man, he has a lot going on. He has, first of all, I really do think he's selling these organs. He's been selling these organs because of the amount of money that he has and how he's paying. So, from what someone told me, that he was paying people's way to go to different countries with him. You understand what I'm saying? How can he afford all of that? Um,
From
and another thing is that the obia do exist when I was young. I'm in my 60s. I'm in my middle 60s. And in Jamaica, I remember obia was prevalent in those days. I remember this woman, Onya. She had a big sore foot because her and her neighbor was getting along, and they said that's what she did. You could see the maggots falling out of her foot. I remember her, you know. And not just her, but there was another woman in Kingston that I remember had the same problem. Just to say gangrene, but what caused that? She was healthy and strong, all of a sudden you see her foot, maggots start falling out of her foot. These things exist, exist. So my mother always said, don't fall into it. Just ignore it. When you believe and fall into it, it can happen to you. Which, if you put yourself in that position, then things like that can happen to you. You know what I mean? But there are wicked people in this world, my darling. Wicked, wicked people. And that's been coming down from Africa days. Voodoo, witchcraft, all of that stuff. And people do practice it still.
yeah, and go ahead. I see you getting ready to ask a
About
question.
the bodies now, organs.
Mhm.
I got some feelings about that, but it's a couple things I really do have to make clear. One thing is that if an organ is taken from a live donor, it has to be immediately handled properly. And if it's not put on ice within an hour, it's not usable. And if it's not handled properly, because the deal is that organs degrade once they get outside your body rather quickly. Now, the guy who left the hospital, who had just left dialysis, he told the man to come. The man didn't have the money, so he told him his blood wasn't clean and he couldn't go on the ark. The man argued with him because he had gave him a whole bunch of money because he was supposed to get him a kidney. Now, here's the deal. How are you going to get a kidney from somebody or for somebody if you don't know a few things about that person? One, the first thing is one, that person's blood type and the blood type of the donor. Those two things are absolutely required because all kidneys don't work in all bodies. You can't take a kidney from a positive person and put it in a B negative person. You'll have an immediate problem. So snatching up people for their organs, I'm not going to discount it, but I'm going to say I have a theory about that. And I've been investigating some things that I can't find the answers to. But one of them, Jamaica has no major hospital facilities to do organ transplants. Anyone who requires an organ transplant is immediately airlifted from
Mhm.
University of
So
Kingston
where would
Hospital.
they be storing these organs unless they make their own buckets
They
and?
couldn't. So what I was thinking is, this is back
Mhm.
to what she was saying. If you got some kids or you got some people you want to get rid of, and you got some
Mhm.
unscrupulous people that want to buy them, because I'm gonna talk about the Chinese and the Indians and the Mexicans now,
Okay.
okay, and the Russians. I'm just gonna say it.
And it's not like here in America where that young guy, oh Jesus, I thought I wrote his name down, but I didn't.
Yeah,
Whom
that
was
died in the
found
gym,
without any of his
Kendrick,
organs. Yeah.
right? So, what I think, if she's suggesting this scenario could happen, I want to add to that because I've been saying this for a couple years, and now I want to tie it all together so Lady D face could just be too through with me for the night. She will have nothing else to say to me for the rest of the week, y'all.
Let me tell you something,
I've
sis.
been telling you that these Mexicans and these Chinese pulling up in these boats and they got these private terminals. So you can't tell me that they can't put somebody on a private plane and fly them up out of Jamaica to a private hospital in Mexico to get an organ transplant done, or bring a Chinese doctor down and have a private hospital
Okay.
take care of them in other
Wait a
places in
minute.
the Caribbean, because there are a
Acid.
couple places that I can tell you about that do have the
Acid.
hospital facilities for it, including Cuba, which has a private hospital for pay.
I don't think the caller, you're not hearing the caller, and the caller was trying to say something. I'm going to see if I could try to makeshift something here and see if there's a way where we can hear the caller a little bit. Talk a little bit again, caller. Let me see if that helped at all. Caller, go ahead and talk. And let me see if this one helped it.
Let me tell you something.
You hear a little better?
Money can buy you anything.
Okay.
In Cuba, you have the best doctors in Cuba. Cuba is right on the coast of Jamaica, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, you can take a boat and go right across there. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Cuba have the best doctors on you. Most of the doctors in Jamaica come from Cuba. Okay? That man had money. From what I'm reading, and I've been watching it ever since on YouTube, on the Jamaican station, and this man had money. Okay? You can buy anything in those in those islands. In the islands you can buy anything if you have the money to pay for it. He who knows, he might have imported these specialists in. This is not something that was just thought of yesterday.
Mm-mm.
This is not something that's been going on for a very
Indians and
long
Chinese been buying
time.
private organs for at least 20 years.
Okay. So
Okay.
what I'm
We
saying,
one moment. We've gotten a text from Don that he can hear the caller very clearly on the TuneIn app. I just want to
Cool.
apologize to each and every one that is listening in and cannot get to hear the caller, because the caller has some valid points and some valid questions that she is definitely putting out. If you all cannot hear us, the call is very good on the WhatsApp, or I mean on the YouTube or
Tune
on
in.
the Facebook. Go to our TuneIn app or just go to www.dapowerhouseradio.com, or you can also listen to us via the telephone lines at 667-930-9036. I would really like for each and every one to listen in, very good, because it's coming through the board, but for some reason we're having difficulty to get it to come through our live chat. our live televised. But always remember that we are definitely on our regular platform, dapowerhouseradio.com, on our TuneIn app, or on the telephone lines. Once again, it's 667-930-9036. So, yeah. Acid, I think you were answered. Thank you so much for that, Don, because that brought me to make sure that I'm able to say what we have to say, and for our listeners to divert over to our regular lines that we use. Mama Acid, you were saying something, or caller, you were saying something. Go ahead.
Caller was saying that it takes a lot of money to do this and that he had a lot of money. And that's why I said, yes, she's probably right. And that I think some kind of way he's laundering money through either the Mexicans or the Chinese. Because you got to remember, the Chinese got their own private terminal, and that is not being discussed. And that is one of the issues that I have.
Yeah, well, that's something that's why we said we're going to definitely touch Jamaica today in our reasoning, because we have been backlog with a lot of reasoning topics that we need to discuss. And so you're saying you feel that maybe Acid, are you saying that you feel that maybe if organs are being harvested in Jamaica, then you feel
Not in
that
Jamaica. They taking the people out of Jamaica, and the patients are meeting them wherever they flying them to. So, like, say they pick them and say, "Hey, we're going to send you to Cuba for a mission for the church as missionaries. You and your family, you're going to go." And they put them on a boat and they go. And then while they out there, all of a sudden, organs become harvested,
and let me
and
put in this
and the
disclaimer really
bodies are
quick.
gone because the bodies are discarded. Don't
Let me
think they
put
only
in
taking the kidneys though.
Let me put in this disclaimer real quick. We're not saying that all churches, all church or all religion is is evil, or have cult, or is doing um, ungodly things. Um, but we have to speak about the ones whom are, especially when it is brought to the forefront and slapped in our face, such as this so-called Pastor Smith, you know, this devil. We have to really put it out there, and it is a sad thing. But
If
question,
you see, if you
go
see
ahead,
the
caller.
picture, someone from the Netherlands, someone from the Netherlands sent me some pictures, and those pictures I could barely look at them. That's how dry they were, right? These people are taking the blood, okay, out of these people, draining these blood. There's got to be some type of demonic power going on. You see what I'm saying to you? For them to be, and then from what this guy is saying on the Jamaican news, he's saying that he's shopping, drinking the blood out of the goat head. I
That
mean,
was the
these
Obia
are
people.
demonic power, demonic force. You see what I'm saying to you? That's what I'm saying. It's more than just the organs taken. There are other things going on, other rituals, other things going on there. And from what I understand, that's not the only one. There's
I
several of these things going on out
I don't
there.
I don't think I don't think in a long shot that this is the only pastor that is doing this or exercising this in Jamaica or all over the world. It For him to be so powerful and to have so much connections, there are other persons that he is connected to that are doing this. And I think that they are all starting to scurry because this has been brought out, and a lot of persons are starting to open their eyes, hopefully, in these congregations, and start to question things that they have seen, or attitudes or actions that they have seen or experienced with these pastors that are carrying out these awful things. Imagine to be told to kill a cow, and then someone come and slashes you, and the oh gosh, what it does to the children that were in these churches,
Okay.
that stood there and witnessed this entire thing.
But
That's
don't deviate. Go back to them three men, children that were living with them, and why? Because I want to get into his associations with other people and the discussions on how this and pedophilia lock
because
in.
they were, it's alleged that there was a lot of that some of them were gay, and that they were doing, they were not, it was, some were pedophiles, but they were also man on man. um
See, it was a sex service. They were selling sex. That's what the
isn't
boy in
it
the gully
something?
said. They would. Sometimes it's good to talk to people in faraway places because they miss you and they will tell you what's going on because they know you need to know. And he said to me, these boys are not new. They just moved up like a call girl. They came from the gully and find them a gully. That's what the boy said. And find them a gully.
Ooh, this is sad.
So he said after he found them, went to their families and told their families that he promised to take care of them forever. That they would be on the ark going into the with the 144,000,
Wait a minute, the
144,000.
caller's saying something, Acid. See if you can let hear. What were you saying?
Last year, last year, there was so many children that were missing in Jamaica, and their bodies were being found, and body parts being missing. It's not something new. Quite a bit of them. And even this little girl, she wrote a song called um, "Something Man Leave People Put Me Alone." I mean,
That
I remember that song she wrote
it wasn't
because it
it,
was getting so prevalent.
and
It,
that was
it seemed like once a month a child was missing.
that was Romaine
They keep the
Virgo.
kids because they said the organs are fresh. It's innocent. It's fresh.
Yeah, that was
It's
Ro.
fresher than the adult. So they're taking the kids now. See, this starts again. They're placing it on this one man. But how is he getting away? I mean, they've been searching for him, the whole army, the whole police force have been searching for this guy here for the past, what, 3 weeks now, and still can't apprehend him.
Okay,
Somebody's
call,
aiding him. Something is going on.
call.
That is not normal. It's not
He's
normal.
a hired
It's not
killer.
normal.
He's in protective custody. They just take him out to do the job when they need him to come out. Then they put him back in jail so that they
Okay.
can be able to keep control of
Well,
him.
that brings us to um. We have a caller calling in. I'm having difficulty with well, each and everyone is having a little bit of difficulty hearing. Hi, caller. You are live on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Greetings, greetings.
Greetings, big up yourself, Lady D, Mama Acid, the Powerhouse Radio. I'm going to touch on the topic tonight.
Is that Queen Zephyra?
Manipulation.
Yes, you can hear pretty good, Acid, because I'm
No, I
trying
heard her
everything.
voice.
Okay. I'm trying everything in the studio to get this working, and I just had the engineer in here, and we thought everything was fixed. Um, but go ahead, Queen Zephyr.
Then I want to, of course, touch on the topic. We've been discussing this topic on our show for the past so it's now this pastor that in the discussion in the news now, and with all the questions. He has been accused of pedophilia when he was in Canada, also in such cases. That's the problem. They keep shading the pastors doing all of these, I would say, excuse me, lady, can I maybe start hang up because there's an echo. I can't hear what you said.
Okay, yeah, because there's a slight echo because I'm here trying to turn up everything. I'm here turning everything up to see if I could get you all
Woo,
to be,
feedback.
ooh, yeah. I was here turning everything up trying to get you all loud so that you all could be heard on the YouTube channel. I know that our listeners that are listening via our regular lines, our websites, and our TuneIn app, and our telephone lines. I know that they are hearing the callers clear. Um, but on the YouTube and the Facebook channel, they're having a little difficulty hearing our callers really clear. Zeph, you do have my private number. Call me on that number, and I'll see if I could connect it with the screen here some way. Because Mama asked you, were you able to hear her?
I can hear a little bit of it, but I heard her voice inflection. I know her voice
Okay,
inflection.
we're going to see if she can call me, and I'll see what else I could do as far as to hook up the lines here some way somehow. Let me see how I can do this. We just had our engineer, Mr. Oliver, here, and unfortunately, all that was supposed to be fixed was not. So, Zephyr, let me see if that will work.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear a little?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that sounds a little better. So go ahead, and I'm gonna see if I can
Yes.
forward the calls from our studio line onto my line and see if I could get it going that way. Go ahead,
Yes.
Zephyr.
What I was saying is this pastor man was already caught in his indiscretions in Canada. He was already caught in Philippines, and then he's just bouncing from here to there to perform his works. So how can all of that go unnoticed by especially his high-end friends? I say high-end because I see a lot of government people in pictures. I Not because two people take a picture means that they know him. I get that, especially celebrities and stuff. But this man is very well connected, and I am almost sure to say he's probably one of the parties, one of their great supporters, because that's how you keep politicians in your pocket. You support their campaigns and their endeavors and whatever they're trying to do. But this man is a scumbag from a long time. He's been pedophile from a long time. He's been preying on children from a long time. See, there are things
Wasn't he
hidden
deported,
in plain sight.
Queen Z?
So
Wasn't he
when
deported
you see
from
someone that's so
Canada for that? And
powerful
didn't he
and
get
they're
removed
representing
from
some village or
Philippines
even
because of
have
the
some trust in this
accusations?
authority, you're going to support him. But you have to look further. You have to look further of who is carrying this torch to give you this word or whatever it is you're looking for from this person, whatever kind of leadership. But you have to really investigate people. Don't stop at the point that says, oh, well, they're the pastor, and just automatically go and be one of the loyal congregants and start to do whatever this and that, whatever the man wants to do.
Okay, Mama Acid
That's
was asking you a question, Zephyr. Go ahead, Mama Acid.
Is it true that he was deported? Isn't that the reason he was deported from Canada and that he can't really return to Canada? And also, wasn't he removed from the Philippines because he went there and tried to start a mission and did some stuff like that too?
he did the same thing. He did the same thing. He was kicked out of one area for pedophilia and kicked out of the other for pedophilia as well because he was trying to do it under the church's umbrella.
Okay,
Yeah.
now that I did not know. I did not know that
Because I
he
thought they
was
said in the Philippines it
deported.
was child trafficking.
Did you hear that, Zephyr?
What's that?
Mama Acid was saying she thought she heard in the Philippines it was child trafficking.
It's I would say it's all under the same umbrella.
Because he
It's all
tried to
under the
take the
same
kids
umbrella.
with
Because
him
he's
when
not
he
going to go
left.
there and sit there like he's opening a storefront. He's going there as a man of God, or whatever theological system he is representing.
Oh,
He's
oh,
going there as a man of God, not as a human trafficker. But because he was in this position, it was easy for him to traffic. It was easy for him to have access to children, and that's
okay.
the same thing that's happening when he went to when he
Okay,
left.
because I've never known. I honestly did not know that he was deported. I was told that he it was a citizen of Canada,
No,
He
he
and
was
wasn't.
he was
removed.
just coming back and forth to Jamaica. So that's ill information that I received there.
Mm-mm. He was deported. He was removed.
That
And
man
he
Cannot
was
go to
did a
England
removed
whole
either.
lot of follies
and he
for
was
a long
removed
time.
for
His
pedophile
activities went.
activities.
Yeah,
His
for
activities
messing with
went
kids
on.
and trying to start a church
It
cult.
was not addressed. They were not addressed. His activities were not addressed. They allowed him to be who he is and to do what he was doing.
Oh, interesting.
I thought it was crazy that when the discussion about why he was able to charter his church in Canada came out, and he talked about how he went there as a mission to help the children.
Right, missionary.
Mm, that's
I mean, like big
interesting.
old Canada ain't got no people to like help the kids. They had
And
enough
when you
people to
say
abuse the Indian kids.
politicians, he has pictures with even Portia Simpson kissing him,
Look,
and
Babsy, him and Babsy is
at,
great friends.
oh, I didn't see any picture or hear anything
Oh
about him and
yeah, him and
Babsy.
Babsy
I
is
also
big
saw, I
friends.
also watched where he prayed for Andrew Holness.
Right. And the shadow parliament. Don't forget them. You got to remember.
So,
You got to call them too, because they part of the Andrew Holness group.
friends in high places.
I don't know if you could call them friends, because with friends like that, you'll never need enemies.
That's true. That's
But
true.
question I got for Queen Z: we are talking about this discussion of the curiosity of the Chinese airport in Jamaica and why the Jamaican government continues to say they have searched everywhere in Jamaica when they are not allowed, not even the JDF is allowed in the Chinese airport. It's considered a embassy facility. Now, when I found that part out, my hair, I think I lost a couple inches because it was on fire. I could just smell it. And it made me wonder, Queen Zephyr, do you think it's possible that maybe the Chinese have found a way to be able to deport the children quickly to an offshore ship where they could be doing some things, maybe removing some body parts, maybe they getting things out the bodies that the people are selling the kids, and maybe then they, I mean, I'm trying to figure it out because the Chinese are the biggest ones in the body market. They
Lord.
used to mess with the Indians a lot, but the Indians they not really doing it as much anymore because the Indians have kind of reached to the point now where they're selling their organs to Indians, but the Chinese they are going global trying to get organs. That's why they, after the United Nations published that paper about the Chinese locking people up in jail in record numbers in order to harvest their organs. The Chinese sort of like outsource. They kind of like stop doing it in China so that they can't really be seen doing it, but it's still happening because all these rich people are getting new organs. And I don't think they're getting rid of all the leftover parts of the body, knowing the Chinese, they use it all. I mean, I would hate to think that they're making Jamaican kid child. That's a horrible thing to say. Y'all don't get mad at me. But that is the most disgusting thing I can think of that the Chinese could be doing. And to be honest with you, for the Chinese to team up with the Mexicans, let me just say this to Jamaica. First, you invite a rat into your house, and then you find out that the rat actually has fleas, and you don't kill the rat or the fleas. How long is it going to be your house?
Well, right now it don't even look like it is their house.
It's kind of scary to me.
It's a
It's
very scary
unsafe.
thing.
Jamaica is
It's a very
unsafe.
scary thing.
Jamaica
And
is
once again,
unsafe according to the hospital statistics. I want to go back to this thing about the blood drinking and hope we can get Queen Zephyr in on that.
go ahead.
Get ready because I'm about to say something that's making me scared to say it. People drinking blood out of a goat's head, but they scared to take a COVID vaccine shot.
Ooh, we have a caller calling back.
Probably the whole of
Caller.
Jamaica calling, cussing Mama Acid.
I've missed about a couple of calls, and I'm glad whenever it rings because I get to look at it really good. Caller. One moment.
I can't hear her.
One
What
moment,
did she
caller, because
say?
they can't hear you. I'm dialing you on my number. Answer. I'm dialing you on my private number. So when I dial you, just make sure you save it. You keep it. Don't share it. Alrighty. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to merge you. I've taken the number off of this phone, off of the phone line here, and I'm going to merge you onto this call because this is the way we have to do it today. So, okay, caller, go ahead and pose your question, please.
Yes, Mama Acid,
Big
just
up
to add to what
caller.
you were saying, I have been looking at so many different things on YouTube pertaining to Jamaica because I wanted to migrate there soon because I'm retired. And one of the things that I've realized is that there are so many small islands that
Yes.
are in Jamaica that is easily accessible to anyone who has a small boat.
Hmm.
These islands have caves.
Like
I've seen it.
Chanel.
These little islands because there's some guys that like to go to some of them and
Mhm.
cook.
Yeah.
And
And fish.
they have caves, all of that there. Now, who knows? They could be taking these, because this child was missing. Some of these kids were missing for months. They could be harnessing them over there, holding them there in those islands, those small islands, right? And then transferring them to wherever they're taking them. But, there is something going on, and like I said, these children are being kidnapped, these young adults. Look at all these young women, these young girls for the past couple. They don't talk about it. They talk about the two children, the two girls. But there has been a lot of young women
Yep.
that are missing in
Yeah.
Jamaica for the past couple of months. It's not publicized as much, I guess, because those were children. But there are lots of young women that are missing for the past couple of months in Jamaica. Okay? Like I said, money. Money is the key. And
Money is the
and these people,
root.
they will sell their sister and their brother for money. Like I was saying earlier, I read something on Facebook where this woman was saying, you think about cult as evil and what have you. But if you look at the gangs also, you can consider them cult also because they're
They are.
brainwashing these
And
young
they all based on
guys to
bloodletting,
go out and murder people for
right?
money. and territories,
Yep.
power. It's all about this power thing, this power play, or territory, or, that's what it's about. And they pay these men, rich men, pays people to go out, these young kids who don't have, because they brainwash them, they don't have any sense. They put out the games out there, the violent games. They put out
Oh yeah.
the movies, violent movies out there. So, and they don't put any solid activities
No
for them
learning
to
material, no
fall
family
into.
considerations.
So they just out there wandering, and they see all these flashy stuff that they want. So they go out there and kill it. Look how many people are dying out there. Old folks, 85-year-old, 89-year-old, slashing their throat. Last week, they cut this woman's throat. She was 89 years old. What can she
Exactly.
do so?
Exactly.
And these boys are heartless. They have no feeling. For you to cut your grandmother, think of your grandmother cutting her
Well,
throat in her bed.
well,
You
this
know?
this afternoon, there was a 21-year-old whom shot his mother 12 times,
Yes, yes.
seven times in the face, and this is right here in Florida. The evilness of people are so evil.
It's like it's nothing in
It's
there. It's like
it's
empty.
it's an empty shell. Why? That's why I'm asking, and that was my question in the beginning of the program. Is something in our foods? Is something in our water?
Mm-mm,
The
it's in our culture.
medications that we are taking, and like you said, and like you just said, culture. That was something that a question that Mackie had posed was: Is this really a cult, or is this a culture? Is it a
I'd
culture?
like to touch on that.
All of this killing and wickedness. Go ahead, Zephyr.
Prophecies is being fulfilled. Prophecies are being fulfilled. I would just speak on the
Zephyr.
In
culture.
the
Okay,
days.
Zephyr said she wanted to address that. Go ahead, Zephyr.
Okay. Now, the word cult is, in other words, culture. It is the same exact word. You can
Hmm.
call it short as cult, or you can call it long as culture. The thing about this is, okay, y'all listen to me because I'm finished. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
so
listening.
culture, and because we're speaking about church and cult, let's speak about culture for a moment. Culture means when you follow a certain way. So, some cultures have sacrifice. Okay, some cultures, it's like we can't just sit around from one culture to another pointing fingers because it's all a culture. If you all sit around in a church and sing with jamborees and all that, it's a culture. If you sit around drinking wine as blood and white crackers as flesh, it's a culture. It's all a culture. It's all a cult. And if you see a bunch of African people dancing around fire in Africa, paying homage or respect to the ancestors, they're gonna want to say, "Oh, they're dibbling and dabbling." This ain't nobody so perfect to point the finger to our next person. What we have to do is acknowledge our spaces and our own power, and that
Hmm.
when we are, you're going to be a follower or you're going to be a leader. I follow nothing, but I learn from everything. And that's what's going to be important in recognizing what is what. Because, see, certain things are not going to resonate with me at all. I'm going to feel it in my gut. And
Yeah.
I know it's not for me. But culture, don't let's get it culture mixed up and think it's something different from cult. It's all the same. Cult is short for culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would go with that. I would go with that, and using and people using more fancier words such as religion.
I want to bring your attention back to one thing that I think we need to look at, and that is the trappings of all these cults. Notice that this particular cultist dressed and aligned all his stuff to the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
He wore bishop's frocks. Even he wore the fish hat. You know, it's a reason why he did that. He's paying homage to who he believes is the Most High. Now,
Look at
I
Eddie Long.
worry that those kids who
Look
are
at Eddie Long in Newburgh. Look at Eddie Long in Newburgh. Pedophile Eddie
absolutely
Long in
same thing.
Newburgh.
They all do it.
He was doing the same thing.
They do it.
It's a
They all
culture for
do it.
some
They
people
wear
to
that
do,
fish hat.
for these pastors and preachers to have this culture to be pedophiles because I don't know what they think they're doing, but they're really creating someone to have complex with who they are. With who they are. A lot of these young men were turned out, and they're
That's
XY
exactly right.
chromosome,
That's what I
and they
was
grow
just.
up
That's what I
and
was
they're
thinking.
interested in XY chromosome because they've been exposed to this.
But we talk about mental illness too. You see what I'm saying?
It's literally.
A lot of this, yeah, a lot
It's
of
so
them.
psychological with them.
Yes, it's that's the key. Mental illness. Mental illness comes in different forms.
Psychological with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's something though. This is something that Lady D threw in earlier, and I think we kind of like skipped over it. Where are these people getting all this money from to give this man? These are not rich people. This money didn't just appear. I'm going to say, listening to Cecile earlier, she said she met him and he told
He
her
was
that
always asking her for money.
he asked her every time she would speak to him, you got to pay a tithe to talk to me. I got something to tell you, but you got to pay
Yeah,
a tithe in order for me to tell you.
yeah.
Now, a true messenger would not charge you
Charge.
to tell you. That's the first thing. When you start charging for God's word, what are you doing? I was a little worried about the perception of the kids after they come out of this. Who is going to
That's my
provide them
concern.
with some mental stability? Because these kids are still going to be attached to this crap. And the thing about it is that these kids have now gotten accustomed to this. They think this is right. So anything
Mhm.
else that they get caught up in that could be just as bad or worse, they're going to adjust to it really quickly and suck it right up like milk
Yeah,
out of a straw.
yeah.
It's got to
They
be a
had a
break.
movie. They had a movie on a series that was coming on. I think it was BT. Not BT. Netflix, where it was about a cult, and it went on for about 3 months. The same movie, and they were showing some of the things that happened within the cult and what have you. Now, from what I'm reading, well, we're not reading, but listening to, because I've been listening to the Jamaican news almost every day lately. And from what I'm hearing, people were throwing money on the ground, even their wallets.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
throwing
I read that.
on the
Yeah.
ground at the ceremony that he have. So it's like you can see that they're brainwashed. For you to be throwing your wallet, throwing money down. They were brainwashed.
But let me ask all of you let me ask all of you ladies a question. Is it really brainwash? Or does these people choose to
I
believe?
think they choose.
They make a choice?
We always quick to say brainwash, but I
Yeah,
think
because
they're more
they didn't
programmed.
dangle anything in front of them. They told them what they wanted to hear, as a lot of church people, Christians and so on, go into church and be told what they want to be heard. And this is why there's also so many, and we've discussed that already in our religion segment a couple of years back. This is why there's so many different denominations. It's because in this church they may say what you don't want to hear. So you move on to the next church, or the congregations in that church go and form another church that is saying what they want to hear. So these people may gravitate to these so-called pastors, because these pastors are telling them what they want to hear, and they make the choice of being there.
But also remember, there is something called orbit witchcraft. I'm serious, and it exists. Don't think it don't exist. It exists. It's coming from Africa, coming down.
Yes, witchcraft.
Wait, one at a time. One at a time.
That witchcraft was never practiced for evil until that's why they used to guard transcripts and documents that had secret sciences and those types of things, because if it got in the hand of someone who is heartless, these powers can be used just as much for good as there is for evil.
Yeah.
So you're going to have those heartless people using these sciences to do evil, and you have some who use science to do great things. It may not even be to harm anyone. It may just be to give some rain. The Indians used to dance and do rain dance so it can rain. All of these things are rituals. They're all sciences.
Well,
So I would not, I just know you put a gun in the hand of a person who's wicked and evil, you might see a different outcome than if you put it in the hand of someone who's just more responsible and not to kill anyone. It's a difference. So I don't chant down nothing, because guess what? It's all our ancestral teachings, and I embrace it all. But guess what? Anything we do is going to follow us. So we have to choose if we're going to be positive with it or negative with it. And I think all them people were choosing pastors and these cultures, symbolic children, and then people, couple years back, they rescued girls in Mobile from another cult and all this. I'm saying people are choosing it because they are programmed.
Okay, we have a question. We have a question from Don. Says, why does I guess the caller keeps blaming witchcraft on Africa? What about the Vatican? What about the Vatican?
Because they do a lot of this. They do human sacrifices. Matter of fact, if you look up the Kabbalah, and don't just look up the Kabbalah like that, but if you just type it in Kabbalah, you're going to see the Jewish flag and all that come up, right? You have to put ancient Kabbalah, and then you're going to see articles come up about ancient Nubia, whereas the Kabbalah was held and protected by high priests.
Okay, I also have another.
To answer that person's question, because I guess that's aiming at me. I bring up the African culture, because I know a whole lot about the African culture, and I can speak on the African culture, not just from books, but pictures. I've been really identifying with that group of people because they're my ancestors, and it's not now. I'm 65 years old, and I've been doing this since in my teens. I've been reading all the black books, all the African books. I've watched a lot of these programs geared towards our ancestors in ancient time coming up. So that's the reason I can identify or speak on that. I cannot speak on the Vatican because I don't know much about the Vatican and what they have been doing. Now, we know that these people practice witchcraft also in the 15th to 17th centuries. We know that they did, but they still do it.
Okay, one moment. I also have another question that came in. If you believe the slave passage created hurricane, what's the difference in science? It's the same, your belief versus science. Anyone want to pick that one up?
What I could probably pick up that question, but before I lose my thought, I wanted to respond to Don's question about the Vatican.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Queenie pass that book, and I'm gonna take it up.
Okay,
And I
go
was
ahead.
speaking about the Kabbalah, and when the people, all the monks and different people from Europe used to go down to ancient Nubia to study the transcript of secret sciences that was protected in ancient Nubia. It's called the Kabbalah. When they went down there and studied all this stuff, when them generals and them up in Europe, they got to win up all that. They start to send people down there to see what's going on. Constantine sent people down there to learn and study these things, right? So once they got enough of their studies, they went down there and actually they arrested all the priests. Not to mention they massacred all of them except one. Took that one back to Rome with them. And when he declined to sit in the Council of Nicaea for them to create the story of Jesus Christ, they killed him.
Yeah, they had already burnt
All of
down the
that. They've
library.
been
They
doing
burnt the
secret
library
sciences
before.
from the time they learned it and they used it for evil.
Yeah,
And they still use it for evil. That's why seven
that's
families
exactly
can
right.
run the world's money. How
That's
you
why they
think they're
came
doing
with
that?
blood and blood of my
All
blood,
the
flesh
women
of
you
my
see missing
flesh.
in America and all over the world, what you think? Where you think they're going to? They're
That's what
using
it
human
is.
sacrifices. That's why they do children because they're
Blood
the
of my
most
blood, flesh
innocent.
of my flesh.
Okay, Mama
And if
Acid is
those
saying
children have been
something.
touched or sexually molested, they will prefer to use their organs
Okay, go
because
ahead.
they will be considered impure.
Okay, go ahead, Mama Acid.
I was saying that that's why when they burned the library, they burned it in order to
Exactly.
keep the truth from being known because they came after that with blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh. They
Fletch.
immediately brought in vampirism.
And they still do that in Europe today. They have
They still
cafes,
do it in
blood
America.
cafes, where they go
Go to
sit
any
and
black
drink
church on the
blood.
first Sunday, you're going to get some communion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Catholic
isn't it
Church
funny that
drinking
they make
blood
it
and
a
smoking
habit
white crackers,
in
right?
most black
They
churches
all
that
go
call
all
themselves like
One moment, Zephyr. Mama Acid speaking.
they
Go ahead.
call
okay,
themselves
go
at
ahead.
a different level because they use Mogan David wine. And I want to explain that part of it too, because that's a ritual. The
Okay.
ritual is this: if you adopt the rituals of a man, even if you don't understand what those rituals are, and you continue to carry them on, they become traits of society. This is why now we're talking about blood and flesh. So in the Old Testament, it tells you you do not touch or eat anything that is dead because you are unclean for 7 days. Because they would kill it, cook it, eat it within a few hours. Because if they didn't, they die. And it was because of this knowledge that they would be sick if they tried to keep it, that they then were able to pass that down because they knew what didn't last and what did. So that's how we start getting into these different cultures of cooking, this style and that style. All of these things all come back from one thing: what was said on the Mount of Olives. We talk about this, the Mount of Olives and
In that
what
religion.
did Moses get in these tablets?
Hmm.
Okay. The curiosity is that are those the original tablets and which Moses was that? It's just like me talking about them 31 different versions of Jesus. You can go to Baskin Robbins and have it your way. In any country in this globe, you can have your own form of Jesus. They'll even make one for you if you don't like the one that they have.
Hmm.
Well, that's what Lil Nas did. Lil Nas said he had a baby by the devil.
Yeah.
Then he came
That's
back
just
next
sad.
week and said he was tired of being gay. It wasn't fun.
Is it a choice?
Blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh, and you making a sacrifice to the devil in your video? You selling shoes with blood in them, blood in the shoes? Come
Issues.
on, let's talk about these people drinking out of this ram's head. What are they afraid of? If they drink in the blood, why don't won't they take the mRNA shot? Notice I called it the mRNA
You know,
shot because that's what it is. That's the technical protocol.
you know what I would like to say about that, if I may. People talk about drinking blood.
Go ahead.
Oh, you know, when it comes, it okay, animals bleed. Whether cow, goat, chicken, fish, they all bleed. They all have blood,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, especially people, I just people who sitting there eating raw steak because it has blood in the middle of the stuff, like the chicken with blood on the bone and all that stuff. And they sitting there pointing the finger about drinking blood. You're still eating it, drinking it. However, you see, you can't look at one thing and say that's a bigger sin than this smaller sin. If it's a sin, you got to look at it all. People tend to always point the finger, but you have to look at what you do too. You consume the same blood in a different way. Blood is blood, right? Whether you drink it or you eat it. Think about it like that. And if you do eat it, ain't nothing wrong with that if you want to eat what you eat or drink what you want to drink, but just acknowledge that you can't separate yourself from someone else who's doing it in a different way.
That's the reason for
And guess what?
That's
There are many
deep.
tribes in
and
Africa and
and
some
halal.
our ancient ancestors who still drink blood from
What
their cows.
What did you just now
And
say,
urine.
Mama Acid? What did you
That's the
just now
reason
say?
for the kosher process and the halal process.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's why they have halal. You see how the Muslims then work with their meats? It's a certain process of how it's killed and all this, that, and the other.
They take care of it for 72 hours before they kill it. Same thing with kosher. If you buy certified kosher meats and poultry, it's been taken care of by a rabbinical farm and they took care of it the whole time. And then when they delivered it, after they had a rabbi butcher, a rabbinical butcher, who is, yes, a certified butcher, and he's a rabbi.
Okay.
He takes care of it.
Boy,
People that are rich, they pay to have their own flock and they have a butcher come and prepare all of that and then
okay,
they
we
store it properly.
we have a comment, but Don Mine, it says the Europeans have been successful in getting the Africans and their descendants to frown on African rituals. The fact is, African rituals are a part of our culture.
Global culture,
Yeah.
that's true. Because there was no culture before Africa. Africa is the very first culture on this planet. So everything comes from that. So we have to remember that we're all a part of Lucy. That's why they don't want them to teach math and science in certain states in the United States.
Okay.
Imagine that.
Okay.
No math, no science. How
Huh?
would you know what to do when you bring your food home from the grocery store?
And well, that brings us to that question, and I'm hoping Carla, that's watching, when oh, there's some more. There's a lot here that was fed to a telephone line, and
Ooh,
it
look at
says
all those
here,
comments.
books can help one. Books can help one understand history. Studies show us reality. For example, Mid Chicago University did studies. The show the show how having a black name or a white name creates the better opportunity for jobs. And that had brought us back to, if you believe the slave passage created hurricane, what's the difference in science?
Hey, the Chinese say that black people are stronger. That's why they want to kidnap black kids from Jamaica to take their organs, maybe.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, we are everywhere tonight.
But
We
we
are
still, but
every.
before you finish, before we leave there, can we still go back to Jill Biden? Does she really know where
Sure.
those kids are? Do we know
Go
that those
ahead.
kids haven't been sacrificed too? All of these people missing in America, all these people missing all over the globe. These people aren't missing. Somebody is taking these people somewhere and doing something
I
with them.
believe that.
That's what I say.
I believe that.
That's what I say.
I definitely believe that. Yeah, I definitely
And you
believe
see,
that.
sometimes we take these movies for surface, surface wise, and you're not digging deep into these movies. But a lot of these movies are depicting these things that are happening, and sometimes if you look at them with understanding instead of just looking at it surface wise, you will be surprised what you get out of it and the conclusion that you can draw from these pictures.
Mhm.
Somebody is thinking, I mean, like I said again, money talk, bullshit, money.
Yeah.
When you have money, and a lot of these producers, they have these money, right? And they make these films. That thing has to develop in the mind first before it's put on canvas or put on the film, right?
Well, acid know that acid done already know that that's always one of my philosophy. If it not go so, it go near so. You know,
Hey,
it's
I'm
it's
telling you.
is the
I'm
same is
telling
the
you.
same way we always say, is this the Matrix with the V thing that's going on? Or some of us going to be plugged and some unplugged? You know, and a lot of things that happen throughout society, and you watch these movies, and then you look around at it and it's happening. I wonder if the purge soon come around, you know. I mean, it just broadens your mind to start to think things that makes you go,
Yeah.
you know what I
All
mean?
right.
So on the quest, on talking about blood and difference and so on, how how does killing someone from jungle justice make you any different from the rapists and the killers and all of that? Because
Well, some of
yesterday
it
they
is
end up yesterday they end up killing an innocent
the
man,
wrong man.
the wrong person. So does that make us right? Does that make us better? And are they going to charge, I wonder, are
Who
they
are
going to
they going to
charge?
charge?
Who are they going to charge? Do they have, well, they have it on video. So are
Oh,
they going to
they have to charge them.
say that again?
They have to charge them. Why? First of all,
Hmm.
there's a country-wide manhunt. Police and soldier and public looking for somebody. You think this man gonna come strolling through a neighborhood? You know? So right away, that should have been the first determinant to verify who this person was, and they did not verify who that person was.
Right.
They did
Right.
not verify who he was, and I totally disagree with it. I totally disagree in how they, because I handle my business a little different. We have to verify. But I just know automatically. I
Hmm.
know a man who's being hunted by a whole country, police and soldier. They're not going to be just strolling through a freaking neighborhood. No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
You
man is
know.
hiding in one of them cave sister talk about, and hiding in some hole and them thing. They got a whole of place. Matter of fact, one of them hole you gonna jump in, you gonna find a whole heap of bones. Because enough of the people then when them get dashed away, they dash them away in holes and stuff and they just melt away in there. And all you gonna find is bones. The man a hide. That they should have
and
never just
and and I think
see a
he's
man
being
walking look like a man and want to go kill a man.
and
Some
I
kill
think
him and I
he's and
kill
I
him
think
too.
he's also being assisted.
Well, he
Okay,
told the
that's
people
what
in the
I
church to
say.
I think
stab the
he's being
man
assisted.
and the woman, and they did it.
Well, don't
Yeah.
you all realize? I heard in one of the stories that the man was trafficking that young lady to Portland. See, they have to watch those courts as well because just like Mama Asa was saying, they have methods and ways of getting in and out of Jamaica. And listen, ain't no poor people doing all this. It's people with clout and
Money.
roads to do what they
Money
want to
This
do.
private
talk.
plane accent.
Money talk.
Now you think they're going getting into
And
Jamaica?
and for those
Money.
who forgot, we don't
That's
need a
that's it.
passport to go
Guess
from
what the
Jamaica to
tax said
Cuba or
before?
any
There's no
Caribbean
food and
island.
money for them thing there.
Okay, Mama Acid made a point she wanted to get across. What did you say, Mama Acid? Repeat that.
CARICOM country citizens do not require a passport to go to any other Caribbean island, including Cuba. It's an open border agreement,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
just like
I,
like Europe had before Brexit.
Yeah. I see them take the boat from Jamaica to Cuba. Just get
You
in the
can
boat
go
and
to the
drive
Bahamas, you
across.
can
And
go
guess
to
what?
Antigua,
That will run through
anywhere.
most of these Jamaican programs.
yeah.
People in
Now
America
we
used to
having a
fly
little.
to
Where,
Jamaica. Then they
someone
would
text me.
fly from Jamaica over to Cuba from Jamaica, because when you get to Jamaica, they will put a blank piece of paper in your passport at the tour company so you could go directly to Cuba. They would stamp the blank piece of paper, and when you get back from Cuba to Jamaica, they take the paper out of your passport so it doesn't even look like you've been to Cuba.
Mm.
Oh,
I have seen this myself with my own eyes. I also know that there are
money.
private vessels, which he's
I
talking
think you
about,
said
like
matrix. Matrix
Penel
is
Island.
not matrix is the world. It's not just one country. It's a government that rules the world. Government
Yeah.
has
Absolutely.
overstanding from country to country, and they're all in this matrix together.
So
Oh,
why
they're all in this
curiosity?
matrix together, and they all
We
have
want
one
to.
agenda.
The six law of
We should
nature.
go back to our first show. I want to go back to the question I asked in the first show.
Okay, go ahead.
Why are the Chinese able to go anywhere in Jamaica and do anything they want with no recompense whatsoever? In addition to that, why are the Chinese allowed to build their own airport in the duty free zone that not even the JDF can go into, that is considered an embassy? That does not happen anywhere else, and China does not allow it in China because Jamaica doesn't have an embassy at the airport in
So
Jamaica.
you're saying in Jamaica, to make sure the listeners heard this correctly. You're saying in Jamaica, the
In
Chinese
Mobay.
has their in Mobay, they have their own port, own airline, own airport, kind of sorta. Elaborate.
Right. It's on the wharf. So on the wharf is cut up into certain areas. If you've never been on the wharf, you wouldn't imagine it. So think of it as a banana. And they cut the banana up into, say, 4 or 5 different segments. Well, one of the
Hmm.
biggest segments at the very end is owned by China. The whole airport used to be owned by Jamaica, but now the airport is owned by Mexico. So Mexico gave the Chinese an agreement to build an embassy in Jamaica.
I would kind of, I would kind of gravitate to that acid because of the reason why I would gravitate to that is because I fly frequently to Jamaica. Sometimes I'm in Jamaica all 10 times for the year. And I don't really recall seeing Chinese in the airports.
You never will. And let me just say this: Chinese people don't need a visa to come to Jamaica.
Right.
Why
You
do
know
the
the
Chinese
Chinese
have their
want
own
Jamaica.
security force in
The
Jamaica?
Jamaica hold the Chinese so much money that is ridiculous. I
The
mean,
Chinese own
they
Jamaica
own
right now.
Jamaica. Look in Parliament. If you look in Parliament when they have session, see how many Chinese head inside that they're heading whatever agencies in there. Look at Parliament. Eh? They control majority of the
Ooh,
agencies.
we getting calls in and I'm having telephone difficulties. I may have to call this
It must be
caller
hot.
back.
It's hot.
It's hot, but I'm having nothing but telephone difficulties. Hello, caller. Okay, hang your phone up, caller. I'm going to call you on my personal telephone line because we're having a little telephone difficulties here that we're not able to get you completely through the board. So hang up. I'm going to call you back in 1 second. All righty, so that you can pose your question. Okay. All right. Hang up. All right. All righty. Go ahead and continue to talk while I get ready to call this the next caller back. And
Well, Lady, do you remember that we first started talking about this when they put
The
the
person who is in charge
radiation
of the
detector
board.
in? Because I wanted to know
hold on,
what the
hold on,
radiation
China.
detector was
caller,
for.
hold on, caller. Mama Acid saying something. Go ahead, Mama Acid.
So the radiation detector, when we started talking about that about 10 years ago, we kept laughing, saying, so what they gonna be doing? Smuggling in bombs or smuggling them out? It was like a little joke, but it really wasn't. It was about them checking the bauxite, because for those who don't know, bauxite is radioactive at a certain point. And Jamaica has a higher grade of bauxite, and the Chinese are taking over the industry. Not only that, the Chinese are moving into several other industries in Jamaica that include logging and definitely fisheries. They have had Jamaicans encounter big Chinese fishing boats out there near Pennell Island that the lady was talking about.
Okay.
So we shouldn't have those problems. Jamaica's a country.
Okay, I did. I was able to merge the caller. Hello, caller. How are you?
Yes, good evening. Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Lady D.
All right, and Mama Acid's on the line, and all of us.
Hey, caller.
You're welcome.
Good evening. Much powerful, amazing women. You guys are leaps and bounds ahead of anything that society will give you guys enough credit for.
Whoa, thank
Thank you.
you.
So, I've been listening to a lot of the comments and a lot of the topics that you guys have presented, and I have to wholeheartedly agree with a lot of your international comments, more specifically Jamaica, because I recently traveled to Jamaica. I actually go fairly often, and something I noticed almost instantly is how the Chinese culture infiltrated uh, the infrastructure of Jamaica, meaning they're doing the construction. They own all the supermarkets. Like if I see someone that's Jamaican owning or running something, it's kind of a beauty shop sometimes, but they're still buying all of their goods from the Chinese. So, I thought that was an issue in itself. But I wanted to ask you guys a bit about the vaccine and and uh, and about the way the world is being run per government. And I think one of the huge issues that people constantly overlook is that, at a certain age, the people that are running the world are, I mean, I can't be any way but blunt, are the same people in society that we're just trying to take their licenses from them. It's like these people that are 60 to 80, not that 60 years old. I heard there was someone out there that was 60. That's 60. No
Well, I'm
disrespect there
66,
at
so I
all.
don't care
Not to
what you're
say there's
saying.
a deteriorating mindset or anything to that extent, but the grip or function of how the world in its reality is functioning is now being lost because there is a huge disconnect in discourse. So it's like the best way to say it is like, yes, if you're 65 to 80, 9 times out of 10, you're not as proficient with TikTok or VPN language as, you know, those who are more so using it to the benefit and degradation of our economy. So you're not really like inept to really what's happening and really the true progression that technology has taken to its influence on people, money, and culture. So it's like, how are these people running the world and we don't really even want them driving?
Can I jump
So,
in on that?
that was my first question. I don't know if
Before you
somebody's
go any
taking notes,
further,
but I just
Yes,
want to put out
before you
there.
go any further, Mama Acid wanted to answer that. Go ahead, Acid.
I'm 66. I don't want to lose my thought. Ageism is ugly, and you need to stop doing that. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. I don't know you, and you don't know me. Stop grouping us together. Okay,
All right.
that's my response to that. But I want to also say this: since you said that, you must live in a glass house because I got a rock over here for you called Mr. Vegas. Why did he stick a gun, a 9 millimeter, in the mouth of a 12-year-old? And I understand he
Mr.
was in his
Vegas
30s when
stuck
he did
his
it.
gun in the mouth of a 9-year-old, like the
And he
artist,
was in
like the
his
rapper.
30s when he did it and claimed it was part of a sex ritual. That's pedophilia. So go ahead, and then we're going to go to the second part of that because I got something to throw
Well,
on
like
that.
we said, pedophilia is a cultish, as you guys were discussing earlier, a it's a culture that's adapted for this particular person's belief. And if I'm also learning from you, you can't group all of us. I would never do such a thing. So it's just the concept of those that are in power versus those that are executing the power. And if Mr. Vegas is definitely not the owner of, I want to say even his masters, I would perceive, because they don't own anything there. So I'm almost sure he's a puppeteer. But
Ooh.
I guess that's my rebuttal to that.
Okay, so what about can we go one more down that road?
Wait a minute. Let him answer. I'll ask the second question because it's 9:58. We only have 2 minutes left for the show.
Oh God. Okay, I did call late. I have to chill. Yes, you have to chill. I just wanted to know more about. I guess the point I was saying was the vaccines. I've seen 1,000,001 arguments, and I feel like the word vaccine has been the most used word of 2021, and I personally believe in a natural immunity. I do feel that if you've not personally interacted with the virus, there's nothing wrong with being vaccinated. I feel like everyone should have their own choice. For the simple fact that the vaccine hasn't proven itself to be what all the others have shown us, meaning I don't cough and somebody gets polio, or I don't cough and someone contracts the measles. That transfer rate doesn't happen. However, people that are vaccinated are able to still contract the virus as well as spread it. So I'm not as confident in the, I guess, the sustainability of it or the stability of the vaccine unless I would be completely on board. Now, I think it's important for those who, live in a place or a situation where they have more interactions, but I think it's problematic for those of us who have a natural immunity because we're moving around and we've interacted with the virus. It's like you don't get the flu and then also get a flu shot. Once you had the flu, you had the flu.
And you know what, with your statement with that was a discussion we had very in-depthly last week as well. And I ditto what you're saying as far as with the big V as we call it, due to us not wanting to be
Don't use that word.
be striped.
The thing.
To be the striped. So I definitely agree with choice. I'm totally with you on that on choice. And I just feel like if nothing is wrong with me, I don't see why I should have to go take something. Furthermore, for myself, I've had it. So therefore, I feel that as it has been stated by doctors and it has been proven that when you have your own immunity, it's even better than the V. It's stronger, it's better than the V. So I'm not understanding the concept and why it is necessary for everyone to have it. Don Minot says, so what is causing the number to go down if it's not the vaccine? And I'm going to take a shot at that. Okay. When this thing first came out, and anyone can correct me if you so choose, because each of us is entitled to our own opinions. When something is new and no one knows about this thing, no one knows what causes it, how to combat it, what to do about it, then you have a lot of casualties as you would with a lot of other viruses or disease or whatever. You have a lot of casualties, and then these people go into the labs and these doctors starts to go and they start to do their own research. And then you have people starting to say, okay, let's figure how to stop this. So people like myself whom had it already, that's one way of combating it that has brought down, to me, the levels of what is going on. Yes, some people have had the vaccine as well, and it has brought it down
And I
as well,
had the virus too.
because what they're saying, 50% or 60%
They saying
has
about
been
60%.
immunized, has taken the big V, and you have another 40% that have not. That full 40% is not dying. You have people whom are taking proper medications. I mean, not even medications, but up themselves on vitamins, started to eat right, started to look at their bodies a lot
Drinking water.
differently, you know, doing what they need to do to their bodies to try to combat this. My problem is not that it is there, that people have to take, okay, he said people have had this virus more than once. Yeah, but everybody has not died. You can't, I mean, and think about it. If I've But people with the big V also is getting also is still getting the virus, and people with the big V is also dying from the virus. So
Colin
no
Powell.
one is excluded
Colin Powell.
across. And Colin Powell is just one person. It is just one person, and he is so much in the news because he's such a high figure person. How many other peoples have died, persons have died, even with the big V? The bottom line is nobody knows. 1 minute it was you only can have one type of big V. It's either the Moderna or the Pfizer or the J&J. Just today, I think, or yesterday, they approved for you to mix and match for boosters. First, it was said that you only need one. Now you need a booster. What's going to happen in the
But
next
they
couple of
said,
months?
get a booster in a different. Like if you got Pfizer, you should get the Moderna booster or the Johnson and Johnson because they say if you
My
change it up, it's supposed to make it stronger. I
my
don't get it.
question, my question to all of these doctors, these politicians, and all of these people is, okay, let's say everyone in the entire world received this big V. Are you going to tell me that on the face of this earth there will be no more big V?
They can't tell you that because they've already
I would
determined
like
that
someone to answer that question.
from what I read last night, the bats they have been testing, they have come up with at least 10 different variants from 3 bats. Now, if they
And
test from
every
3 bats and
time,
getting 10
and
variants,
every
I don't want to be around no bats.
right now there's another new variant. And every time they have to recheck their ingredients to see if it can really work against what is coming. Okay? And maybe that is the reason why there are booster shots, because of all these different variants. And every so often, you all are going to be required to take it. I'm not saying, and I've never said that anything is wrong with getting it. Read my lips. Never told a one that anything is wrong with getting it. What my problem is with this entire thing is when you tell me that that is the only way. There are other ways, there are alternatives to do than that. And I'm just saying, why can't we also visit the alternatives?
Exactly.
Why does it have to be that one way that has not proven in no form of way? because that is not the only reason why it has gone down.
The money.
That's not the only reason why the virus has gone down. It has gone down because people have developed immunity in one way or the other, or people have developed the proper antibodies in themselves to fight this thing. So
Lady, I heard the other day that one of these companies,
that's
I
my
forgot
only
which
thing.
one it is, they're donating 100% of the revenue that they made off of these vaccinations. Hey, can you imagine?
Right. I don't and to me it's a money thing. Until I see that even the ones that have it don't have to wear a mask, don't have to take booster shots, don't have to do all that these things are requiring, this one thing is requiring them to do, then maybe I would say, okay. But at this time, for me, it is a trial and error. They don't know. They're guessing and they're trying. And that's where my problem comes with mandates and you forcing me and telling me that there is no other way to combat this thing. There's even other ways to combat cancer. You have natural remedies to even battle cancer.
That's right.
You have natural remedies to battle even the simple common cold. So why is this the only way? And that and that's where that's why I'm on the fence. Is because I feel that there is another way, and not just that I feel, I see, I've witnessed other ways that people can avoid it. People are
Absolutely.
being cured of it, and people whom had it that has it again still beat it the second time. So to tell me that it's this way or no way, for me,
That's not
it's
possible.
unacceptable. And that's all that I'm saying. Whomever want to go and take boosters and the next one and the second booster and the third boosters and every 6 months and then maybe it changed every 3 months. Hell, it might change to every month. Then you all go ahead and do that. I don't knock you.
Okay, let me throw this in also. Since I
Go ahead.
got it, I have also had the virus, and I've said to myself, I'm not sure if I'm going to get the next round because I've done the two and I have the passport that you need in order to be able to travel. That's all they require you to have, and that's why I did it. Now, the deal is this: if I get it again and I go and I get a test and they tell me that my immunities are good, I'm not taking any more boosters.
Yeah, but did you ever think about the repercussions if you don't take it? Has
No,
there been
I
has there
haven't.
been has there been a research? There's two research that I would like to see. One of the research that I would like to see is what if someone gotten it and didn't take it again? What would happen? The second research I would want to see is for those whom haven't taken it, what is going on in their systems that they are able to fight it?
That's excellent questions.
Those are two questions that I would really, really like for the government, for the doctors. Why aren't these types of research also being done? Don Minot says many skeptics have regretted not taking this vaccine when they are on their last breath. Everybody has. Many people have not eaten right and they said, darn it, I wish I had ate a proper meal today. Everyone have regrets when things happen to them. What you need to do and what I feel that people need to do is to check yourself. Eat right. All you can do is try. If you don't want to take it, eat right. take
Take care of
vitamins,
yourself.
seek alternative
Get
care.
good rest.
You have lots
Stay
of
away from
people,
people.
you have lots of people whom are seeing herbal doctors. You understand? Doctors whom are, because I'm not going to say,
DOs. There are
I would
DOs
just say it like
treatment.
this. Somebody that I know whom is a doctor told me, listen, I ain't getting it. Okay?
The DO said they're not getting it. I know.
You
That's
have
true.
skepticism on both angles in every way. You have skepticism. And it's good to have it because you're able to ask questions. And if we don't ask questions, how do we know? My question to them once again will be, what what if we try some of these alternatives? What happened if you don't go and get the boosters?
I just don't want to try ivermectin.
What happens if, can you run tests on all these people's blood and system that didn't get it?
I
Because
believe
you
that
know
they
what?
are testing people.
Because you don't have, it's not everyone that has gotten it. And it's not everyone that has gotten it has died.
And what about the people
And
who are
it's, I
not
mean,
taking it but still getting tested every week because they choose not to take it? Are they going to test their blood and see what the difference is? Because if their blood is just like mine and they may have had it and then they decided that, hey, I don't need to do anything more, why should they be forced to have to take something?
to have to. I mean, I don't feel sick. Nothing's wrong with me. Okay, I understand if you want me to come to your country, you want me to come to your place of business, you want me to do, give me an alternative. Let me take a test. I'm not sick, so why are you forcing me to take something and I'm not sick? Nothing is wrong with me
At your expense.
at my expense. And I still need to understand. Michelle says, what?
Hey,
WHAT. Okay.
Michelle.
And I still need to, okay, another, that is horrible. Like Butcher said, country for sale.
Absolutely,
Okay.
100%. Ain't nothing new about that. Andrew
Okay.
brought his own version of the for sale tag.
Okay. So
Wait, but go back. I'm not gonna cut
that's
you,
my
but you got
take
to go
on it.
back. What she's talking
Okay.
about is what we're talking about. Where Don Minot said the Chinese firm China Merchants Port Holdings is now in complete control of Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited, the entity responsible for managing the Port of Kingston under a concession agreement made with Jamaica's government. The agreement has a duration of 30 years, so it's got another 25 years to go. So for the next 25
Okay,
years,
so that's
everything
just
coming
like the
in coming
highway,
through
the
the Chinese.
expressway.
Okay. The call on the line. Queen says, what you say, Queen?
No, I was saying that's just like the expressway. Like I said to you, Jamaica hold the Chinese so much money that they have to do what they tell them to do. Okay? They hold them billions of dollars. So you have to say the Chinese own Jamaica. Really and truly.
I
So
want
they
to ask her
basically
before
want
she
to
hang up. I got a
that's
question.
Um,
right.
well,
They try to go up into the maroon town, and them people held their drums and what have you, and drive them out. They control all of that stuff. They try. Let me tell you something, sis. The Chinese is controlling the world, really and truly, because they have more money than the world, including America.
Mama
No matter
Acid,
what America says.
Mama Acid
Okay,
wanted to
they
say
have
something,
more
and then
money.
we're gonna rap. We need to rap. Go ahead, Acid.
People got
Let
feelings
me tell you
because
something. This
they
Wait a
he
minute,
wasn't
one
here for a
moment,
couple
Queen. One
months.
moment, please. Queen, one moment,
okay.
please. Go ahead,
You can't
Acid.
rush them away. They got feelings. They want to discuss things. How you going to shut them down? I'm with
We
Queen on this. Let's talk. Okay, so Queen, this is what I wanted to say.
Listen here.
wait a minute,
To
Queen,
control
Queen,
things.
Queen, Queen. One moment.
Sorry,
Acid's
I'm
asking
just
you a question. Hold on. Go ahead, Mama Acid.
When we see these people selling out Jamaica, literally selling it off, like just making Jamaica belong to other people, we see the damage. the roads that the Chinese put in that are already falling apart. We see buildings that they're building that are bad, that are collapsing. We know that the Chinese build things their own way, and they don't necessarily follow the same rules and regulations that everybody else follows because it's their project and it's not going to be inspected. So I am believing that some of this money that Jamaica owes China, really China gonna have to pay Jamaica to fix all that stuff that they built poorly. And the roads are like oatmeal. I was really surprised the other day. I read a report about the collapse in certain parts of Jamaica's roads that were new and about why they felt the road density was collapsing. And my thought was, is the road density collapsing? Because if the road density is supposed to be 6 inches, that's about 6 inches, right? Why is the road
Hmm.
density down to 2 inches in 5 years? That means that all of that was all asphalt, not cement. That's the only cement. And the asphalt is collapsing onto the cement, which is going to destroy the cement, and Jamaica shouldn't pay for that.
Okay.
It's band-aid just to get what they want. They make everything pretty. Look how Chinese things are pretty. Everything pretty, and you want to buy it because it's pretty. And two months after it start breaking or falling apart. Hey,
Look,
listen,
that's one
they
of the
give us
comments. That's one of the comments that was just made by Michelle. Chinese built school buildings poorly in their own country.
They built old folks'
everything
homes
they
so
do.
bad, old
Let me
people
tell you
burned up in
something.
them
This
last
is
week.
a world control. This is a world control, and China is at the head of it. World
Yeah.
control. All these mandates they putting on people for because of their jobs, and it's all a control. Listen here now. If you don't go to work, if you don't take this vaccination, you can't work. These poor people, they have to take the vaccination because they have to work because they have to feed their family. It's a world order control.
It's a
They're
strong arm.
telling you,
Yeah, they strong armed
But
these
but
people.
let me
all
say
I have
this:
to do is take away your
Hmm.
livelihood,
I'm
take
in
away
that
your
situation
livelihood,
right
and
now.
I can
I
control
got
you.
it. I gave them the proof that I have it, so I'm not prohibited from working. But I chose to come out of the workforce because it's not safe. You have to have good sense in this type of a situation. You can take the vaccine. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be safe because what's happening right now, look, they slowly, slowly, slowly trying to wipe out people in my age group. And when you get to my age, you start paying attention a little more. So I just want to say to people, if you have older relatives that are 60 or older, spend more time taking care of them. Because if you don't take care of them, ain't nobody around that can tell you your history. And they are trying to wipe us out by destroying our history. That's why they're trying to kill these kids' minds and make the kids disappear. Listen, in China, they took a whole generation of women. Listen, this is something I don't talk about often, and I got feelings about this. A whole generation of women and aborted them. Aborted. Took the women to the abortion clinic and told them they have to get an abortion because the state says they don't need no more women. Now, just like India, guess what? They ain't got enough women to reproduce to keep their population going. So guess what they doing? They stealing from other places, and I really believe that. So please forgive me for uh, my obtuse assertion that it could be possible that the Chinese allegedly could be taking people from Jamaica. Well, we know they got the port to do it, and Jamaica
Okay.
government is giving them all the latitude that they want. They could have used that guy and gave him a whole bunch of money and used him as a lure because he seems to be in the middle of all of this, and all of this seems to be
Yeah.
moving back to one place: the government.
Hmm. Hmm.
It is
Ooh,
going to be hard to wrap this show. I
we
know
need
you
to
want
wrap
to.
this
You
show
know you
up.
can't.
It is 10:21. We still didn't get a question, an answer as to jungle justice. Does it make
Yes,
us
we
any?
did.
Does it make people? What was the answer to? Does it
The
make people
answer
any
to jungle
different?
justice is there is no justice when you can't find out because the police don't tell you. The police lie. The police destroy the tapes. The police destroy
Okay.
the evidence. The police are in the middle of all of it. And if you got money, you can make the police do what you want. So no,
Buy all
justice.
things,
There is no
thing. That's
justice in this
it.
Money
case at
talk.
Money
all.
There's no
talks.
justice. No
In the
justice.
Caribbean island, money talks. Money talks. In the Caribbean, Cuba, the Caribbean, hey, money talks.
America too,
Because
sis.
those are poor country, and they'll sell
All
your
of the poor
mama
countries, all of the
for
poor
money.
countries, money talk. As a matter of fact, even the countries that are not poor, money talk. Right here in America, money talk.
Oh, one thing
Yeah,
I
but more
forgot to
so
mention.
in the third world
Oh
countries
yes,
because
definitely.
they don't have as accessibility as we do here in America or in the larger countries. I
Wait,
mean,
wait.
the more
One thing we
developed
all
countries, I should
forgetting.
say.
What we
One thing
forgetting?
we are all forgetting that we need to all pay attention to. The more Chinese goods that we purchase, the richer they become and the poorer
The
we
richer
become.
they
And the
become.
deal is this: if we keep shopping in dollar stores, we're going to end up living in them. Stop
Mm.
supporting Chinese products that don't support your community. Pay $5 for it if it comes out of a black store, if some black people made it.
Amen.
Because I'm going to
Hey,
tell you like this:
we will hope people would support,
we
and
got
but
to
that's
stop
always the
supporting people that don't
complaint.
support us.
That's and that's definitely true. You know, we talk about that even last week. I think we touched a little bit on it. That have you ever seen
A Chinese
a
person in a
Chinese
black
really
restaurant?
in a black restaurant and really in any restaurant besides their own?
You know, this month is Black Business Month. Support your Black Business Month also.
Yes,
You need
we
to
announced
stress
it
that
last
too.
week. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
support, try to support your black business, and that is that, and it's for this entire month, and
It
Yeah.
should
also
be forever.
it should be always, and that's something that has been being preached year after year after year for centuries. Support your black, but you know, normally we try to find the cheapest ways out of things, and sometimes if we look at it, the cheapest way is not the best way, because sometimes you buy these cheap things and then by tomorrow they break and you still have to go back and replace it.
Oh,
So
one thing before you go
uh-huh.
about the safety alert about the sliders.
Okay, go ahead.
The safety alert, safety alert, safety alert, sliders. What are sliders? People who run up on you at your car when you are trying to pump your gas or get out and maybe go in a store. Never leave your car unlocked. Never leave your keys in your car. And if you're moving around, well, you might be like me and Lady D. They may not want to run up on you because if they run up on me, I'm gonna grab them and snatch them in my car. And I'm not asking for no kidnapping money to return them.
Michelle says hello, and she also say that's right. So let me we definitely have to wrap it up. We are here every Thursday reasoning, and we ask you all to call in. I apologize for the telephone lines
Oliver,
today,
we calling
but
you out.
everyone that's been calling in, anyone that calls in that I catch, I definitely call you back with my with the telephone. So that's why I'm holding the telephone in my hand, is because we're trying to make sure that everyone be heard. Big up Latifa says LOL. So big up yourself, Tifa. Big up yourself. And Michelle says, did you hear that California gave Bruce Beach back to the African American family?
But they didn't give them
I
any of the money that they made off of it when they had it. And then they want to charge them at an accelerated rate of tax.
I didn't know anything about that. So
Remember, we talked
Michelle,
about this about a month
as
ago
it
about the black people who had this
the
beach that
beat,
they took
but I
away
didn't
from
know
them
they
through
gave it
eminent
back.
domain.
Yeah, but I didn't know that they gave it back. So Michelle, I'm hoping that you
That's
did
not the
hear that
bottom.
comment.
But that's
Huh?
not the bottom of it. The bottom of it is that they were the only black beach owners in the entire state of California. And when they
Okay.
did that, they disenfranchised all black people in California from being able to go to the beach. We need to come back to this because this story has a whole lot more going on with it.
Okay, so next week we'll continue with the California Beach Black owners. Since there's more to it, we're gonna continue because we're gonna definitely be watching this cult, and I'm hoping that a lot of what we
Please,
discuss,
pedophilia, can we please talk about these pedophiles
and we have
and
to
these
we
abusers?
have to continue on. We started it last week and we didn't get to finish it this week because we took a U-turn. But next week we're going to finish up on our pedophile, speaking in regards to the pedophiles and the rape culture. And you know what, it's so funny that all of these words of culture,
Cult,
the
cult,
cult,
cult.
it all comes back down to the cult.
Okay.
Huh?
Mhm.
So
Cult is
we
culture.
and
Culture.
Michelle says upscale black families went there.
They
Mama
definitely
acid.
did because that's near Huntington Beach, and there's a lot of them that are still out there. Which is why I said this was a very difficult situation because you got a lot of black people who had worked for the Navy during World War II and built up a lot of cash. But this is right after World War One when these people had bought this piece of land, and they built a hotel there that was like a resort for black people. They said we can't let these black people have this, and they destroyed it literally. So I think that they're also owed all of the value that they lost during that almost 100 years.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna touch that next week. The California, the Bruce Beach. We're gonna touch that. We're gonna finish up our reasoning on pedophiles and the rape culture. We're definitely gonna have this cult culture in our conversations next week. It came across my desk here that Brian Laundrie, the one that murdered his girlfriend here, they found his remains. So it is in, and also that it was a
Did they confirm that
Colombia.
was his
It
remains
was
that they found?
That's what they said. It was his
The
remains.
parents said they not sure. The parents said they want an autopsy
That's what
because
just
they
came
had found
across.
them about 4 o'clock today.
And for the murderer of the Haitian president, they said it's a Colombian man, and he was found in Jamaica. We'll
Wait, wait,
check
wait,
that
wait,
out.
wait, 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 wait. You
we
are
we we
not trying
signing
to wrap up
off.
after saying that.
We are signing off next week. You know it's always hot. If you all are just joining us, this is your first time joining us. If you miss a little, you are missing a lot.
Look at my
Right
face.
here, each and every Thursdays on Reasoning Thursdays. You can go back to our YouTube channel and please like, subscribe, hit the notification button. And as a matter of fact, you need to review this entire video last week and this week. I mean, all of them, but
Subscribe.
last week and this week, Reasoning Thursday, go back to the Powerhouse Radio YouTube and rewatch those videos. And we thank each and every one for
Subscribe.
listening.
Like.
We thank, subscribe, like, share, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a family member that we are here. Also, the Lady D show, we're going to be playing a rerun because I'm going to be attending my cousin's funeral. So I will not be here Saturday. But Saturday morning, you do have the Bishop Blair Gospel Explosion. Don't forget, Sunday nights, you have I Am Meta to get into your spirituality and just the universe. Check out I Am Meta Sunday nights from 6 to 10 with Queen Zephyr. And then make sure if you want to get your love on, you want to sit there and sip some wine, relax on a Sunday evening, check out All About Love, Nothing But Love with yours truly, Lady D, Blossom, and Cool G. Wednesdays, check out Let's Gripe. You don't want to miss Let's Gripe. From 8 to 9 with Tonia, McKenna, and Marcus G. And as you know, Thursdays, like tonight, if you've missed the Kids Way, and if you have children, let your children tune into the Kids Way on a
Adults too.
Thursday evening And adults, definitely adults. I'm just saying,
Kids are good.
I would say incorporate your children into this program. That's from Thursday 6 to 7. And then, as you see, Reasoning Thursdays, we're from 8 to 9. We have gone to almost 10:30 tonight. That's how deep it is.
We
So
making up
be
half
sure.
hour at a time, y'all.
Yeah, yeah. So we love you all, and we're going to leave out with the big man himself, Don Minot. We thank you all once again for joining us, for being with us, for participating. To all of the participants, Queen, Zephyra, James, Michelle, each and every one, Don Minot, who has been an avid supporter of the Powerhouse Radio for some umpteen years. We thank you for your continued support and never missing a Reasoning Thursdays. So we love you all, and you all be safe. Wash your hands, sanitize, social distancing,
And
and
don't be
just
racist.
no, and love each other. Love each other. Because tomorrow is not guaranteed to none of us. So just love up on who you can love upon. Love up on whom you are loving up on. And just full joy life, one day at a time. Don Minot leaving out with man up. And he says, stand up. Big up to each and everyone.
Good show, Lady D. Good show.
It's talk. You can hear it?
Dee Dee, that's a good show.
I could hear that too.
Great show, Dee Dee.
That's Zephyr.
Mama Acid, you know what? I didn't even say to you, did you have anything to say to our listeners before we go?
Yeah. See you
What?
next week.
Zephyr, were you saying something, my sister?
I'm saying I enjoyed the show.
Ah, thank you so much, my sister. Big up yourself.
I had stopped talking. I stopped speaking at 10 because I really thought you were going to shut down, but then I saw you squeeze some stuff in, so I stayed on. But
Ah.
we'll pick it up next week. Yeah, I'm going to chime in again because I still, there are two questions that I still didn't even tap in on, and I have to jot it down, Mama Acid. I got you, babe.
All
Oh,
right.
yes.
Bless up. Don Minot says, get up, stand up.
Pick up yourself.
Big up, big up.
Big up, big up.
It was awesome, ladies.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I took off my headphones.
Okay, call me when you finish.
I'm gonna call you because I couldn't hear anything.
Okay.
Destruction. Good night, Michelle.